Welcome back to the David Pakman Show. I am David Pakman if he was a giant oaf who got stung by 1,000 bees in the neck and then swelled up and became this monstrosity before you. Speaking of monstrosities, there's another unplanned segue. I'm becoming very good at those. Kevin McCarthy, not Mike McCarthy, that's a different person who coaches football. Kevin McCarthy, Speaker of the House of Representatives of these United States. There's a lot of words that come to mind when you think about Kevin McCarthy. Integrity is not one that comes to mind. Intelligent is not one that comes to mind necessarily. But sycophantic is, and a tool, a useful idiot for radicals in Congress certainly comes to mind. He was on with Margaret Brennan yesterday on Face the Nation and gave a disastrous performance, just a disastrous interview with Margaret Brennan. And he was asked many, many questions, some of which he faked like he answered. He has this new thing that he does when he's answering a question with an answer that isn't an answer to the actual question. He says, well, let me answer your question the way I say I'm going to answer the question. That's his new tack, is to become like aggressive guy. And he's asked two things. We're going to play two clips here. One is about George Santos and about whether or not he should be expelled from the body, because you need 2/3 of the House of Representatives to vote to expel him as a member. They're not going to do that because they've got a Democrat governor in New York. A number of different reasons that are at play here. But the other thing he's asked about is about Marjorie Taylor Greene being placed on the COVID Origins Committee to investigate that. The same woman who believes wearing a mask is like the treatment of the Jews during the Holocaust. The same woman who calls into question every sudden death as vaccine linked. A woman who believes 9/11 was a hoax. A woman who believes Jews have lasers in space aimed at California to fire a laser and start a forest fire. This is a woman who has been elevated to the House Oversight Committee and others of importance. She went from having no committees at all to some of the most elevated and sought after committee assignments in the entire House. And you would ask yourself, how is that? When she spoke nothing but poison into the ear of Kevin McCarthy and about Kevin McCarthy, and all of a sudden they're thick as thieves, they're pals, they're taking selfies together on the floor of the House. It's a valid question that should be asked. And it was asked by Margaret Brennan, and this is what took place.
These are members who just got elected by their constituents, and we put them into committees, and I'm proud to do it.
Let me ask you about some specifics then. Marjorie Taylor Greene, you put her on a new subcommittee to investigate the origins of COVID.
Yes.
She compared mask requirements to the type of abuse Jews were subjected to during the Holocaust. She called for Fauci to be arrested and imprisoned, and she spread conspiracy theories. How's anyone supposed to take that work seriously and find that work credible?
Very well. You look at all of it, so you have all the questions out there. I think what the American
You think these are legitimate questions?
I think what the American public wants to see is an open dialogue in the process. This is a select committee where people can have all the questions they want, and you'll see the outcome.
Those are nonsense answers from Kevin McCarthy, that we need to have, all the questions need to be asked. No, they don't. Not all questions are on the same level, Kevin McCarthy. Not all questions are valid of the work of a special select committee in the House of Representatives. Open dialogue, we're just asking questions. This is the work of conspiracy theory. This is how they act. This is what they say. Well, we're just asking questions. What's wrong with asking questions? And when you put someone like this, as pernicious and sinister and indeed stupid as Marjorie Taylor Greene on this committee, it diminishes the work that they will do. But again, it doesn't matter to Republicans, but they're not in it for credible findings. They're in it for the theater of it. They're in it for the show of it. Now, I was going to play this other clip first, but I chose to do it second. And that is his absolute refusal to answer the question about getting rid of George Santos or what they're going to do at all. Instead, he starts talking about proxy voting and the House being broken. And when she forces him or attempts to make a force to him to answer the question, he's not having it. He's doing that thing that I talked about earlier. Watch this.
But doesn't it further wear down credibility when you put someone who's under state, local, federal, and international investigation as a representative of your party on committees? I'm talking about George Santos, representative from New York.
We should have that discussion. So let's have that discussion. You want to bring up Santos, and let's talk about the institution itself, because I agree wholeheartedly that Congress is broken. And I think your listeners or viewers should understand what proxy voting was, because it never took place in Congress
But I'm asking
before.
you about George Santos.
I know you asked me a question. Let me ask you.
Because you could put it to a vote.
You asked me a question. I'd appreciate if you let me answer. So let's go through this, because it's not one simple answer. Congress is broken based upon what has transpired in the last Congress. The American public wasn't able to come in to see us. People voted by proxy, meaning you didn't have to show up for work. Bills didn't have to go through committee. So what I'm trying to do is open the people's house back for the people so their voice is there, so people are held accountable. So now, as I just had in the last week, for the first time in 7 years, every member got to vote.
If you got a third of your caucus to vote to oust him, you could do so. You don't think you could get your Republicans to do that?
I wasn't finished answering the question. So, if every single new person brought into Congress was elected by their constituents, what their constituents have done is lend their voice to the American public. So those members can all serve on committee. Now, what I'm trying to do is change some of these committees as well. Like the Intel Committee is different than any other committee.
So you're just not going to answer the question I asked?
Well, no, you don't get to question whether I answer it. You asked a question. I'm trying to get you through that.
I don't think you've said the name George Santos like once.
But you know what?
You're talking about proxy voting and other things.
But you started the question with Congress was broken, and I agreed with you. But I was answering the question of how Congress is broken and how we're changing it. So if I can finish the question that you asked me, how Congress is broken, I equated every single member that just got elected by their constituents, they have a right to serve. So that means that Santos can serve on a committee the same way Swalwell, who had a relationship with a Chinese spy. But
Speaker,
they will not serve on Intel.
They're wrapping me in the control room because we're
that's unfortunate. I wish I could answer the question.
I have to leave it there. I would love to have you back.
I would love to be able to come back and have time to answer the question.
Not smart. Listen, there are skilled politicians who are very adept at doing the thing that Kevin McCarthy wishes he could do, which is you're asked a question and you answer an entirely different question and then it just moves on. He's not good at it. Instead, he gets called out blatantly, overt, like, well, you're just not going to answer the question then. And he doesn't. He filibusters for just about 2 minutes in that space, refusing to answer the easiest of questions. And you know what? It's going to catch him, because George Santos and all the investigations that are taking place relative to financial impropriety, to campaign finance impropriety, it's going to come back, and his innocent until proven guilty thing isn't going to play anymore when George Santos eventually, possibly, gets convicted of these crimes. And they are crimes, some of the things that he's being accused of now. It's not just he lied about his mom dying on 9/11, as despicable as that is. It's not just lying about being a volleyball star with replaced knees. There are serious issues that Kevin McCarthy isn't qualified, isn't capable, and has no desire to try to get to the bottom of.
One of our sponsors is Helix Sleep. I have been sleeping on a Helix mattress at home for years now. I couldn't be more happy with it. I recommend it to everybody. The other day, even though she's not allowed in the big bed, I put my baby daughter on the mattress, and even she loved it. Helix Sleep is the premium mattress brand offering tailored mattresses based on your unique sleep preferences. Take the Helix Sleep Quiz. It asks you about your body type, your sleeping position. Do you get hot at night? Do you have back pain? And then Helix will match you with the mattress that's perfect for you. Most people don't know where to begin when shopping for a mattress, including me. Helix makes it simple and less risky because you know you're getting a mattress that fits your needs. It ships free. You can try it for 100 nights to see if you like it, and it comes with a 10 or 15-year warranty. Unlike many mattress companies, all Helix mattresses are made in the USA by a skilled production team, so you are supporting good jobs. Helix Sleep is giving my audience $350 off, plus 2 free pillows. This is the place to get pillows. You know what I mean. Go to helixsleep.com/Pacman and use code HelixPartner. The link is down below.